great talk. You guys, the cool thing about this panel is both of them are helping online entrepreneurs find local in-person support. So to start off with, sorry, it's a bit twisted. Deborah, you talked a bit about burnout, but I'm curious to hear, how do you know when you are actually approaching burnout? Could you share about that?
That's a good question. Well, it will depend on each person might manifest it in different ways. And I'm sorry to be repetitive, but it has to do with self-awareness. So if you notice changes in your sleeping patterns, for example, notice it in your eating habits or your eating patterns, you're not eating well as much, or you don't feel hungry, or you're overeating. These are just physical manifestations of something that could be happening in a less superficial realm. Are you unable to focus? Are you too focused? So everyone has what I call, we have our baseline, which is when we're good, everything's fine. Whatever deviates from our baseline is something that, okay, red flag, this could be a sign of burnout. And so it will be different for different people. Sometimes people get super angry, other people get apathic, like don't react. So it will depend on your knowledge of how you are, and something that's different from your normal, healthy self.
Perfect, thank you. But the important thing is to make sure that we're cognizant of that and making sure that we are taking care of ourselves and focusing on self-care.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because ultimately, if you don't have health, you have nothing.
Very true.
I mean, you can have all the money in the world, you can have the biggest company, you can have 3,000 employees. If you're not healthy and you can't produce and you can't fulfill your life, really, for me, you have nothing. So if you don't take care of that, and we come to this earth with only one body at a time. You know, next life, I don't know what happens, but now I only have one body, and I have to take care of it. And my mind and body, well, it's more than proven that it's connected, right? So it's important to be aware of. Again, I'm sorry to be repetitive, I'm using this word too much, but it boils down to that.
Perfect, thank you for that. Does anyone have any questions regarding this for Deborah? We would love to hear from you guys. Anybody?
Just one thing about what you said. When we created the working spaces, one thing that we think about it was about the balance between profession and personal life, and that's why we have the B, because it's balance, business, and kind of stuff. So we try to make some partnerships with gyms, with yoga teachers to give classes for free in co-working space, because we believe on that you need to be well with you before you starting a business, or you are trying to put a business on a good, in a better way. So yeah, it's very important.
Agreed. And anyone, I think, who has gone through burnout, they don't want to experience that again. It's not a pleasant thing, I would imagine.
Yeah, but funnily enough, many people repeat patterns, don't they? And I mean, we're all guilty of that. But I am, certainly. But what I think is important is to be, again, mindful of, why am I doing this? Why is this happening again and again and again? And search for help. I mean, help can come in various ways. It can be yoga classes. It can be, I think another good thing about the co-working space is the connection.
Absolutely.
That you can create, and we talked about that as well. It's so important to have, create connections, and when you're working alone, It's very hard. I mean, if you have that coffee break, like that 5-minute break, you're going to talk to, what, the water cooler? Not really, right? I mean, he's not going to have a lot of answers to your questions, or even if you just want to vent because you had that, terrible phone call, whatever. So having that person, even if that person has no idea of what you do, just the ability to talk and to get perhaps ideas and feedback, that's priceless. That's really invaluable, and I think it would translate in better health overall.
Definitely. And I think that's one of a really, a big struggle for entrepreneurs, especially who are doing this alone, because when you start your company, you are building it by yourself. And if you are at home, you don't have anyone to talk to, and that's very lonely, and it's very lonely. So co-working spaces are
Or even worse, you decide to do laundry.
Yes.
Like, okay, procrastination at its worst. First is dishes, then laundry.
Absolutely. Now, Nuno, sorry.
We have some people there that they work for a big company with good salary and everything, but then they burn out, and then they start to think, okay, maybe it's better to quit and start to do something. And we have one or two people that quit and they went to our co-working space, and now they are very happy, and we see a huge difference between the first time of the first week or first month they came and right now, and this happens in all co-working spaces where you can connect with people and you can share your struggles, your problems, and have someone to answer, not just coffee machine.
It makes sense, because connection definitely helps people become, overall, I think, happier and more fulfilled. And speaking of co-working spaces, can you think of any success stories that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, so that's two success stories that I told you before. I already know. Yeah, for example, before co-working spaces exist, many companies born in garages and that kind of stuff. And now they're born in co-working space, they study in co-working space, and they are very big right now. And there are many. And you can see that when you see Google or Facebook or Mercedes or BMW going to co-working spaces to open innovation centers there, to connect with the other co-workers and to know more about the community where they are. And so if these kind of companies are doing this, why small entrepreneurs are not making the same, right?
Yeah, those are really good examples. Do we have questions regarding co-working? Can we grab the mic?
I was sleeping a little bit before that, so can I just jump back to Deborah?
Of course.
Yeah. Hi. So there are people who are not very aware of themselves because they've just never learned to do that. Do you have a trick for somebody who doesn't know how to listen to their body really? How they can start listening to their body? Because I feel like sometimes we're so focused and we're so into this task that we might have a different sleeping pattern or different eating pattern, but we don't notice it ourselves. We're just like, oh, I'm awake. I might go up, get up, or fall back asleep again. So do you have a trick to how we can listen to our body?
Well, have you ever tried to listen to a music that you like a lot? We usually close our eyes, don't we? when we're trying to listen to something very closely.
I'm into hip hop, so it's more like,
But many people close their eyes when they're trying to enhance another sense, right? When you eliminate one of the senses, for example, vision, you enhance other ones. And if you're trying to listen, you might want to, for example, shut your eyes now. Meaning, and this can mean different things to different people. It can mean meditation. It can mean many types of meditation. But before that, that's the tool, right? That's the way to get there. Before that, you have to have the attention. You have to want to. And if you're not even slightly attuned to your body, you probably even haven't thought about it before. So the first step, I would say, is to realize and to internalize that it's a thing. I'm not just a robot who eats and works, and it's kind of like many people are living what I've heard once, and I don't know who to credit because I don't remember who told me, but we're living a physiological life many times. So we're just doing what our physiology says us. We sleep, we wake up, we eat, we work, and we don't really think about what we're doing. And if you're living that robotic life, so to speak, it's hard to do that. If you go one step further and you question yourself, like, am I happy like this? Is this beneficial to me? Am I achieving what I want or what I thought I want? If you start questioning yourself, those are the seeds of that. I don't want to call it a trick because I don't think there's an easy way. I really don't. And it's a never-ending journey. You're going to do this, I think, unless you're enlightened in nirvana, which I'm not, until the day you leave this earth. Because you're always changing, you're always evolving, and things happen in your life that change your perspective, change your priorities, and you have to reshuffle whatever's inside you. So I don't think there's a trick, but there's a seed. And the seeds are these internal questionings that might flourish if you give them time, oxygen, space, mind space, water. If you nurture them, they might blossom. I hope I answered your question.
yes, definitely. Thank you.
What would be your favorite form of self-care?
Manicure, as I said. No, besides manicure, it's true, but it's kind of like a joke. But yeah, I do. Since I said in my presentation, I have been doing yoga for over 15 years, and I must say that for me, yoga was a lifesaver. Because I needed something that you used your body, but you also used. I learned to meditate. And it was a place where I also connected with other people. And as an expat that I was and am, that for me was crucial. So it was a place where I connected with people, not in a working level, like professionally, but with similar interests, yoga. So it was a place that had like many different components that, like one-stop shop for everything that I needed at that point. And I haven't stopped since. So yoga would be one of them. And I do have like an occasional back massage.
Nice. Nuno, I know you were talking about community specifically, and since we're on the topic of self-care, what is something that you do to really just take care of yourself or recharge your batteries? As an entrepreneur, it's definitely, it can be draining. So what are some things that you do?
Play with my son is better way. I ride skates. Right now I'm in a house project, so I'm constructing my own. I am constructing my own.
Wow,
So So it's something that could make me close everything about the business and just
Step away.
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it works.
Shifting back over to co-working spaces, for you personally, would you say that Be Working is an incubator and accelerator now?
We are working on that. Right now we are waiting for the European certification. It's not obligation, but it's good to have, of course. And we are working in a project that we incubate an idea for 3 months with the help of some venture capitals. And it's a little different from the other things that are here. And let's see if it works.
Great, that's great. Well, thank you both so much. Do we have any final questions for Nuno or Deborah?
Thank you. Nuno, I really enjoyed your presentation. I have a question. For example, when you were talking the work and social life balance, when there is too much social life, how do you use, for example, or do you use a decoration of the space, the workspace, to influence the creativity, to influence the working hours, to increase or decrease, in this case, the personal interactions that people might have with each other? Do you use the decoration as a tool in your business?
So right now we are working with because we changed it from to another space more fast than we think about it. So, because we had another space, we changed it just 9 months or something to the one that we are now. And so we are working on have a better decoration that could increase the motivation and everything. Another thing is about, because we give 24 hours, 24/7 access to everyone, it's not to everyone works 20 hours per day or something, but they can choose to make something in the morning and then work till when they want, or they could work at weekends and stay more available for the family, for the friends, to make things that they like to do. And our space, as I talked before, we have the lounge zone where everything happens, where people take the coffee, where they eat. And there, I think people interact with others. And sometimes we try to make some diners with people. And that could help to but it's not easy to educate people to have that balance when you have a business and you think that, okay, I cannot stop to work, because if I stop to work I don't get clients and I don't answer to clients and everything. And so now we already launched a service called Startup Office, and we make all the things for the company, like the finance, administrative things and logistics, if it's e-commerce or something, and so and with a very nice price, and so the entrepreneurs have more time for their self-care. We are working on that with 2 clients right now, so let's see.
That's nice. Thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, well, thank you both.
Thank you.